Okay, I thought I'd bring you up to date on what's been going on. 15 practices in the books for the 49ers. Still no Trent Williams. And then Brandon Aiyuk showed up to practice on Wednesday wearing a red 49ers shirt, creating a lot of optimism. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Brandon Aiyuk over the past week. On Monday, August 5th, I reported the 49ers had frameworks in place to send him to two places, but they were two places that he had never mentioned as preferred destinations. 49ers had deals in place with Cleveland and with New England. And they had the players, they had the package and everything. And then Brandon Aiyuk had been given permission. His agent has been given permission to talk to those teams. So, they knew what kind of offers would be coming. Nothing really happened on that front. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're also involved. But the issue with the Steelers was they never really had a wide receiver that they could give back to the 49ers that would satisfy them. So, lacking a player, an obvious player to come to the 49ers, that team, the 49ers, asked for more in return. What I was understanding was like two second day draft picks, as well as some other compensation, maybe even a 2025 draft pick. Well, the report on Tuesday was that the 49ers had worked out a framework, or they had worked out a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they were concentrating on getting the deal done with Brandon Aiyuk to not trade him to the Steelers. Now, I wasn't able to confirm all of that, so I don't know what would have changed as far as potentially the Steelers upping their level of compensation. But where we're at with this is that both sides. Well, I can say just Brandon Ayuk's side really taking their time. He's taking his time, wants to make sure that this is the right thing for him. And so, it's a matter of certainly the contract, but also where he's going, the situation, everything else. So I'm not sure that even though this has been going on and more information has been out there being reported over the past 10 days now, I'm not sure that it's all that close to a conclusion. Now, clearly, it could happen at any time. That's what I thought last week, and it didn't happen on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the feeling was after the latest reports, NFL Network, Ian Rappaport reporting that a trade was in place. Others, Mike Garafolo, reported that the 49ers and Ayuk were working toward a contract, but there was one sticking point or something. It seems like this has gone on forever. And if it does seem that way, there's a good reason for that. It has gone on forever. Okay, so we'll see where this goes. I still think there's a likelihood, I guess you could say, that Ayuk remains with the 49ers, but we'll see where this whole thing goes. Now, as far as Trent Williams, his thing is interesting because he was scheduled to make $20 million in base salary. Well, he's already incurred nearly $2 million in fines. So, if the 49ers were reluctant to pay him much more than what he's already scheduled to make, now for Trent Williams for this holdout to uh, be successful for him, he's going to have to get at least $2 more million out of the 49ers. And each game that he misses, each preseason game he misses, that's one game check. So on Sunday, when the 49ers face the New Orleans Saints, that's another $1.1 million that would be taken out in fines. And that is mandatory fine money. The NFL CBA makes it very clear that those fines are automatic and cannot be rescinded. So we'll see where it goes. $50,000 a day for missing practice, and then $1.1 million for each game that he misses. So I really don't know what the end game there is, because I know the feeling was because he had 3 more years left on his contract that he was looking to, and no guaranteed money. He was looking to convert a lot of that non-guaranteed money to guaranteed money. And the final year of his contract, his salary jumps up to 32 million. So in a lot of ways, when he signed that original deal, the overall number average of 23 million was kind of maybe a little bit inflated. It was more kind of window dressing because that last year, 32 million was seen as such a high number, and maybe a number that would never ever be seen in real life. Now they might have to dip into some of that 2026 money in order to get him into camp. But I'm not sure exactly what Trent Williams is thinking. Clearly, he's been around a long time. He's a businessman. He knows what he's doing. But it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing takes place. My thought would be that they dip into that 2026 money in order move some of that forward to satisfy him as far as the guarantee, and essentially I would think it's a 2-year deal in practical terms this year and next year. So the 49ers right now, I would be flying to Irvine or to Santa Ana to attend 49ers practices against the New Orleans Saints, scheduled for Thursday and Friday. But because of the state of the team, the injuries, the number of injuries they've had, Kyle Shanahan decided to scrap those joint practices. So the 49ers remain in Santa Clara. They're practicing, taking part in kind of lower key practices. The 49ers felt like they could really benefit from it. The coaching staff loves that kind of breakup of the monotony. And to watch them, they're really good practices because you can tell a lot about those. And typically, when a team has joint practices, the veteran guys, the starters, don't play in the game. So who potentially benefits from the 49ers and Saints not practicing? Perhaps the fans who show up Sunday at Levi Stadium. I would not expect to see, Brock Purdy or George Kittle, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, the whole the star-studded cast of 49ers. Wouldn't expect them to play much in this game, but it does open the possibility that they could suit up and see some action. None of the regulars. I think I counted 30, I think it was 33 guys who did not suit up and play in the preseason opener against the Tennessee Titans last week. I would think on Sunday, more recognizable names will be out there, but we'll see what they have in store. So the 49ers will practice Thursday, Friday, and then walk through on Saturday and kick off on Sunday. So that's kind of the update. And it's funny. I mean, the more time that goes by, it just seems like nothing has changed as far as the storylines of training camp. Brandon Aiyuk, we know where he is. He's a hold-in. He hasn't practiced. Is he going anywhere at this point? I kind of think he's not. And then Trent Williams, a holdout, incurring $50,000 a day in fines. Where is he? We don't know. We know that both guys are staying in shape. Kyle Shanahan has expressed optimism that when it's time for both of those guys to get on the field and get ready for the regular season, they'll be there. But at this point, it's still anybody's guess when that happens to either Aiyuk or Trent Williams.